They say, I've watched lots of the trips you've done and really want to do something similar. In December, I quit my job after suffering hard burnout, so I've given myself a few months to rest and rethink things. I'm now more free than ever, so it's a perfect time for a cycling trip. The only downside is I'll probably have to do it alone, so what are some good destinations you'd suggest for someone going solo? Love the work you guys do. Thank you very much for everything. So much of my cycling choices are thanks to you all. Well, thank you very much. And I would say... First on my list.
Think carefully because he listens to your choices. So he's going to do it.
Pressure is on. Top of the list, Spain.
Yeah.
Top of the list, Spain. It is fair climate. Like the weather's always pretty good. The drivers are extremely tolerant. The road surfaces are good, and the people are relatively friendly. You do need to speak Spanish to get by there.
Do you speak Spanish?
Enough to order a bocadillo, yeah.
You don't need to speak Spanish.
Well, you can't just speak English.
You can, man.
What, point at stuff?
Well, I guess it depends.
Yeah,
any of the east and west coast, they'll all speak English in most places.
So. I guess I'm comparing. In my head, I was thinking, if you go to Malaysia, everyone speaks English. It's not one of those situations. You're not going to be speaking the same language as the people there. So if you want to have proper conversations, that ain't going to happen.
Right,
you can order some stuff
at
a restaurant.
They speak Spanish, unbelievably.
Funnily enough, yeah.
But you can, culturally, you can easily get by, even if someone doesn't speak Spanish.
Yeah. And out of everywhere I've ridden in
English.
the world, it is the most tolerant the people are of cyclists and the safest on the road. Because the driving standard is pretty good, and they like seeing cyclists on the road. Like every time I've heard a car horn in Spain, it's been like egging you on. Like, wait, keep going.
Yeah. I'd say my experiences with Spain are similar. I'd say France is quite like that as well. Definitely down south.
No, I've had some bad experiences in France.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just close passes and things like that. Same in Italy.
Really?
Like they're a little bit cheeky, the drivers there. They'll close past you very fast. They like driving fast. So it's nowhere near as safe as Spain. Some
of the Italian stuff I've been around, I would agree that there are elements of it where it is a bit aggressive with driving. Mm-hmm. We've ridden a bit around sort of southwestern France, and it was always absolutely
it was great.
mint.
The people literally give you so much room. They're like,
they're beeping, they're shouting alley as they go past.
Yeah, I'm sure if you compare it to the UK, it is better.
Yeah.
Most places in Europe are.
But yeah, I think generally a lot of Europe, especially Spain, it's great for riding.
Yeah, depending on time of year, if it's very cold in Europe, Southeast Asia is fantastic as well. It definitely is a shock. In the places I've ridden, which is Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, the traffic looks like chaos, and that is a big shock the first time you ride in it or see it. But it does get significantly more normal the more you do it, and you realise that people are looking out for two-wheeled vehicles a little bit more because there's lots of mopeds and scooters and things around. And yeah, people are extremely friendly there, and it is generally feels very safe. In other ways as well, like you can leave your bike outside a 7-Eleven and walk in and buy some stuff and come back out, and it is usually there.
I'm very aware that you do a lot of this kind of travel. Do you think that somewhere like Thailand, I'm only mentioning Thailand because Nicola mentioned that. He said you highlighted that as somewhere very safe. So he was interested in that. Do you think that the fact that you're quite a seasoned bike packer or whatever you want to call it makes you more at ease in the traffic and all of that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or do you think it would be okay for like a first timer? Or
first time, it depends if you've done any like regular traveling as well, like without a bike, because there's lots of things to get used to and for your brain to calibrate to. Like toilets are different, and the way people act is different. It's a very different culture. So if you've never been to Southeast Asia or Asia before, then it's just very different, and it's exciting, and it's tiring sometimes. And maybe if you wanted easy mode, Spain's the one to do first.
I was thinking about who else does a lot of solo travel, and Chris Hall came to mind, our pal who is an adventure cyclist. So I asked him for some of his recommendations as well. He said he likes to do events, whether that's an ultra race or just more of like an organized ride, an event. And the reason he likes to do that is if it's got a set route, especially, you'll meet people along the way. So if you are on your
Good
own
point.
and you want to have company or just like check-ins, if you've got checkpoints, someone's at least checking in on you. There's
like a safety blanket,
a safety
isn't it?
blanket there of, so it gives you the peace of mind that you can explore, but someone's kind of
Making sure you don't disappear.
yeah, exactly. Or you just have a bit of company, you have someone to chat to.
They've probably chosen a good route as well.
Exactly.
We could,
Route can make or break a ride, definitely.
we're fairly experienced with these kind of trips where you put bags on your bikes and go. We landed in Thailand and were not prepared for how steep the roads were, or not. We didn't expect it to be that steep. We got through it, but wow, if you're like getting into cycling, that would be a big challenge.
Yep.
Big challenge. They're just built. They just go straight instead of weaving around like in Europe. So yeah, that was a shock.
Yeah, I asked Chris for some destinations. He said Canary Islands. There's a series of events called the Gran Guanche. I think that's how it's pronounced. They do an MTB road and gravel versions around 600 kilometers-ish. You basically ride 5 islands and get the ferries in between, and you meet a lot of people. They do a race event. Obviously, you don't have to race it. It's more a race to just kind of get to the ferry in time, is what he said. But they also do a holiday-style version where it's basically an event that's just guided around the islands. Or you can do those routes yourself. Apparently, the routes are actually on the website. So if you're happy to do it yourself, but you want good route making, then there's potentially a resource there. He also said south of Spain, just weather, quality of riding, quality of holiday is good. Pyrenees and Alps, he said as well, are obviously amazing, and you still have a bit of a comfort blanket of Europe if that is something that's important to you. He said that Le pilgrimage is something that he did. Him and Fee went and did that, his girlfriend as well, and he said they had I think you basically are based in one place and you go out on different rides every day. So
it sounds like it's just like a traditional cycling holiday.
Yeah, it is more like that. Yeah. But they offer a thing where you can camp outside if you want to get used to camping. But again, you want the sort of safety blanket of knowing that you're not on your own. And if things go wrong, you can go back in a hotel or whatever. So it's kind of just working out what's the right level for you.
Do you want to know the really sad thing about all of this? Is that we are not sitting here going, you should come to the United Kingdom.
Having done a video series, do you remember our Garmin series where we went and found the best places in the UK?
The cycling here is absolutely incredible, but I just can't recommend that people make the effort to come here and ride bikes if you're not already here, because you're going to ride the roads and you're just going to be like, why are these drivers just
Running us over.
knobs?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
Sad.
you can go to remote places. Like if you go up in the Pennines, you're not going to get bothered that much. There is nice.
you are in the summer.
I think the main problem with the UK is you can't bank on the weather. So you might come over here and it might be torrential rain for the 2 weeks that you're here.
Well, courtesy of global warming or climate change, that's everywhere now.
You got a point. It's in the summer, which is when you'd want to be doing a trip like this for the weather. The remote locations like Peak District and Lake District,
all the motorbike boys and the car idiots
full
around.
on. And it's just like the sides of the roads are lined with people parked cars, and then the roads are full of people driving cars and running you over. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard.
I get what you're saying, but I also think that it can become a bit of a vicious circle in your mind, because I don't think like that. Like, I know obviously riding on a road is dangerous and you did get close past, but looking objectively just from my experience, fingers crossed, touch wood, all of that, I haven't been hit by a car. I don't really notice close passes that much. If they haven't hit me, then I don't really care.
It's unlikely,
So
and it is.
I'm not that bothered. I don't see the roads as that dangerous.
It's unlikely, and it's a safe activity. However, it's not an enjoyable holiday experience. It's
Understood.
not relaxing. Whereas I ride, even in the US, like spend a lot of time in the US now, and the attitude of drivers towards cyclists probably the same, similar to the UK, but the roads are wide. Mm-hmm. The UK is just a combination of like a bunch of different things that just lead to problems, and that is a shame.
Especially because the actual riding quality we have here is unbelievably good.
Yeah, some of the stuff we rode on that trip was awesome.
Incredible.
Awesome.
Incredible.
Well, ultimately, a caveat to this is while lots of places are safe, it's best to tell someone where you are, share a location, take precautions. Obviously, nowhere's 100% safe, but there are a lot of places that you can go. the other thing I thought was Jake Thorpe, who was on our show,
The guy that rode across Africa.
Yeah, that's a good episode if you want to listen to it. He said community helped him a lot. He wasn't solo, but he was solo on some of it, riding across Africa. And he joined a lot of touring groups on Facebook, and then he got put into WhatsApp groups just from like engaging with that community. So I would say, look on Facebook for solo bike packers, zone in on areas you want to travel to and try and find groups for that. And the more you start talking to people, the more you will be able to hone in and get some experience there from people who are doing it right now and can tell you what the situation's like.
Yeah, that was a really good point. I think one of the things he was ultimately talking about with that was the idea that there was a number of people riding in similar regions of Africa at the same time, and they're kind of checking in with each other kind of thing. Yeah, it's a really good point.
They post things like, oh, this road is now completely closed because there's been a landslide. Stuff like that. It's really good.
Totally. Yeah. And I think that's a nice thing about the cycling community is there is a reason that we have a shared commonality, and people are generally willing to help you out. So even if you are solo, you can feel like someone has your back kind of thing, which is nice.
That is the best bit about the cycling community.
It is, yeah.
That's the sort of stuff that makes me want to do tours and bike packing if I didn't despise traveling so much.
We'll just stick to the Pennines, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. In winter. Oh wow, we've completed the podcast today.
We have completed.
Well done, guys.
That was good.
We've nailed
It's because we're so fresh.
So thank you to everyone who wrote in. We love reading your emails, so send them to wildonespodcast@cademedia.co.uk. That's all for this week. Thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode. Thank you very much. Goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye. It's good to be back.
Bye.